Okay, so we were looking at the E dot, and the E dot, okay, which is the dot that's up here or down there, but this is not the pitch of your guitar. I'm just using it. There's the E dot. Everybody calls it. It's the octave dot, right? The dot scale would be 2 whole steps down from that E dot. So what? Now you kind of have it. We just didn't discuss the. So it's the root of the E scale. Okay, that we would play the G E shape there. Now let me show you something. Alright, so the GE shape is right there, the 6 and the 7. There's your root. The GE shape, the GE double string shape is right here. Here's G, here's E. Here's your root. Okay, remember this is a label, this isn't the note. R is the note, so we would play the GE. This R can be played either as the 7 root 2 E shape or the 6 7 root G shape. So here's your dot. Okay, the 7 root 2 would be. Okay, here's your dot, or it can be the 6 7 root of the G shape, right? So it'd be. Okay, that would be your G shape, because remember the G shape starts on the 6th and ends on the root. Or the E shape. So that's how that works. But how did we know which one to use? So it's easy. That's the thing about dots. Once you hone in on a key and you know where you are, it's like, why was I worried in the first place? We're learning a system here. This system gives us versatility. Versatility is hard to learn, easy to use once you know it. So let's go back to this diagram here. I know these look like traffic lights, so I've got time to slow down, and we're going to learn this. So let's look at let's look at a different dot. Let's look at the minor third dot. So let's look at the G dot. I call it the minor third dot because my guitar is down tuned. So this is my C, even though it's E shaped. So the minor third dot is up here, is here. By the way, the dots in the middle doesn't matter. I use them as bottom string dots. Some people might use them, like have a way, I like the dot to be right under that string. So right there, I know that that note is whatever that note is. Okay? I use the dots as, and you'll see on some guitars have them. They have the dots right here. And by the way, I bought a fret nut guitar that had the dots underneath. I never saw them. That's what I get for buying something, there was only 2 or 3 of them left. So if anybody, I'm trying to sell it to my friend whose son's a drill sergeant in the Marines, but he plays left-handed guitar. So I think I could maybe sell him my fret light because it has the dots underneath. I don't know. But anyway, you'll see the dots on the top here, the little ones. That's what I'm talking about. They pertain to the note that's on the bottom string. So this is the minor third dot. Okay, so the minor third dot. So let's look at what's going on here. We call it the G dot because I'll pretend that this is E tuned, but it isn't. For teaching purposes. The G is the third of what? G is the third of E flat. G is the third of E flat, D sharp. In this case, I must call it E flat because I'm a piano player, from the start. So that E flat. Now we have the E flat dot scale. So let me put the pick down and all the wonderful. And now we have the E flat dot scale, and I've got to get this. I've got to get this. This diagram's really the star of the show here. So let's see if we can get it in the middle here, and then we'll zoom in on it. All right. So right here we have the minor third. The E flat is the dot scale for the G dot. Why? Because you take the G dot and you take the E flat scale. Okay, it's the third of E flat. That's why it's the dot scale. And if you follow an E flat scale, that's an E flat scale. Third, second, root, seventh, sixth, fifth, fourth, third. Okay, I've learned to count that instead of looking at each interval backwards and forwards. So that's the E flat, D sharp is the dot scale for the G dot. So remember, the dot scale is a very powerful thing. This isn't a normal scale. We're not going to play a B flat scale. We're looking at the dot scale as an algorithm concept. It's 7 scales in one. It's the E flat scale, the F scale, the G scale, the A flat scale, the B flat scale, the C scale, the D scale, and the E flat scale. E flat scale, F scale, G scale, A flat scale, B flat scale, C scale, D scale, and the E flat scale again. Now, the G note. Remember, a dot is just a note. A note is a note, whether it has a dot on it or not. A dot note is just a dot note. It's just a note. In this case, it's G. So, when we look at the E flat scale now, this is 7 scales. The G is the third of that E flat scale, which means that we can play a DC shape there. Okay? Now, do I have enough? Maybe you can look at that on the other chart. If I do that, I think I lost my... So we're looking at that E flat scale here. So here's that E flat scale now. We look at the G dot. Okay, there's the G dot. Oh, that's D. Here's E flat. The G dot is the third. Remember, we started from the G dot and we went down a major third. So we got to E flat. So that's the key of E flat. So you want to play off the G dot, It just so happens that my guitar is down two whole notes anyway, so that's why that sounds right, but it's not exactly right. So we want to play off that. We would have to use it would be the third, so we'd have to use the D string shape 2, 3, 4, or the C string shape 3, 4, 5. You see how that works? So you got your choice. You can get it from below, or you can get it from, or you can go upward. You can go to the right, or you can go to the left. 2, 3, 4. Okay, here's the G dot. So 2 would be down here now. So this is kind of a tough note because it's the first note that you have to press. 3, 4, and then 3, 4, 5. That's it.